welcome to Ariel Helwani's MMA Show.
Back in your life on this Monday, August 10th, 2020. Hello again, everyone. Hope you're doing well. Welcome back to a brand new edition of DC and Helwani. That man over there, that's DC, Daniel Cormier. I'm Helwani, Ariel Helwani, and my, oh my, Daniel Cormier. We are here. And can I just say something right off the bat? I'm a little emotional right now. I feel like together we have been on this journey since March, and it's actually fight week. It's actually here. You are fighting in 5 days. I don't know what to make of all of this.
It's crazy. It's crazy to think that when we started this thing, you know, I was running. I had this video of me running, and you've seen it. It's an awful video, and I could barely breathe with no idea if I was even going to get the fight. And now, fast forward, 4 months, and the fight's right upon us. So it's very crazy to see and think how fast time flies.
Each and every Monday, allow me to say this, I think you have helped me. I think we have helped others. Maybe I helped you as well. There were some dark times at the beginning of all of this, right? I mean, for 4 months, I didn't leave my house, and I'm still in my house and talking to you every week. And it's hard for me. It's a weird thing because for a minute there, you stopped being Daniel Cormier, the champion, the fighter, the commentator, and you were just my co-host. And now to see everyone talking about you this week, to see you on the promos, to see the countdown, to see you doing the interview with Felder, it's oh my gosh, Daniel Cormier is an actual fighter, and he's going to be main eventing a pay-per-view on Saturday. Yeah. And is trying, the whole thing is actually kind of surreal for me. But enough about me, because I don't want to make this all about me.
It's crazy though, right? No, but it makes sense, right? Because then you play different roles, right?
Yeah.
So you play different roles, and outside of this training camp or training camp pass, I'm just me, and that's who people have gotten to know a little bit better over the course of the last 4.5 months doing the show. Is that we've been able to not only people get to know me better. I think they've kind of, you've been on this for how long? 10 years now you've been doing these shows?
11
years, right? I think people see a different side of you now, because now we're just kind of our friendship, while we talk about fights, allowed people to get to know us a little bit different. And I think that's what's happened. But ultimately, this is what I do. When it's time to become a soldier, I'm a soldier. I'm a soldier that goes to war. And that's what I'm excited to do on Saturday.
Okay, so bring us up to speed from when we said goodbye on Monday till now. How was the last week, the trip to Vegas? How are we feeling? How are we doing?
Last week was a tough week, honestly, if I'm being completely transparent with everyone. The sparring was okay early in the week. Everything was okay early in the week. But as the week went on, I could feel that it had been a long one, and I can sense that I needed to peel back a little bit. And that's what fight week is. It's you kind of just recovering, resetting, and getting ready to go fight because the work's done. But I was so intent on being prepared, right? Because I'm so aware of what cost me last time that I tried to do so much to ensure that it didn't happen again. And you could feel when it gets long, right? In 16 weeks of things, and not only 16 weeks of just running and just trying to get yourself started, 16 weeks of actual work, and 12 weeks of training camp was difficult, so by the end of the week, I was feeling pretty tired, fatigued, and I could feel that my mind was set on the fight. I was starting to go to the fight, and when that starts to happen, you realize that the work's done, and now you got to start to peel back a little bit. And I'm not a guy that peels back easily, so I had some fights with my coaches during the last week, but we got through it. It wasn't the best, but we got through it.
Saw that photo of you, Luke, and Kane together again. It's been a while since we've seen you three. What was it like to have those two guys there with you for the final week?
It was great, because we would always call ourselves the Three Kings of AKA. You remember that? We were the Three Kings of AKA because we all had belts. 2015, at one point that year, all three of us were champions. And to see those guys that were so vital to my career, be back in the room with me, training, making the sacrifices, and taking the risk, right, of getting out of the house to come and make sure that I had what I needed for training was great. And Kane's been here the whole time, right? Kane was there the whole camp. Luke came back up to San Jose for 2 weeks. It wasn't just 1 week. He was there for 2 weeks to check in and make sure everything I was doing was the right way and give me whatever work he could. And it was great, man. You know, it was, as you start to round third, like you always said, you start to kind of closing on the end of a chapter. It's good to be surrounded by the people that were there at the very beginning. There was a picture that floated around the internet last week of me, Kane, Luke, and Khabib, and we were just children. And now, you know, I said that to Kane and Luke. I was like, we look so old now, you know, compared to those pictures from before. You know, we all look just so different. Even Khabib, we all look so different, but we're all just kind of on our way. And for them to come back in, and it has been great. And then also, you know, I get messages every day. I talk to Khabib. I got one this morning, you know, because of the time difference. Like, you know, we were 3 kings. We're 4 now because Khabib is definitely one of the guys like that. But, you know, it was great to have my brothers. It really was. Very special. And
He's rocking that silver beard, huh?
I love it. I think Kane looks great. Like, I think look at mine, man. Mine's going, it's all getting gray, but Kane started to get gray back 4 years ago. And now it's just, I think he's so comfortable with himself, and get in front of him, man. He's still as bad as he's ever been, and he can push you. But that's also part of the reason why last week was tough for me, because as you get through a training camp and you're at the end, I put the toughest guys in front of me that I can find, right? I don't want to just have guys in front of me that I can beat on and I can feel confident with, you know? I want tough guys. I want Kane in front of me. I want, like, Corey Anderson in front of me. I want tough guys in front of me to really push me. And that also makes those weeks tough.
What kind of things is Khabib sending you? Like this morning, like what is he sending you?
Just a lot was like, you know, a lot of it is how are you? You know, how you doing? How you feeling, champ? Please do this. I watched the fight again, you know, like essentially doing the things that I do, you know, when he's getting ready to fight, and just like, I watched it again, champ, and you can do this. You can do X, Y, Z. And then today, and some joking too, you know, Habib's a funny guy, man. Like, he was watching the countdown show this morning, and he was watching it. And we always talk about the food, like, because he always tells me halal meat is the best meat. And I always go like, I'm not eating it because I don't know it's just the way they kill the meat, I guess, or something. But
right.
I'm like, don't give me no halal meat. You know, Khabib and I have a great relationship. And he was like, brother, I took a picture of this meat that Ron is eating. And what is this, brother? It's not halal. How can this guy do this, brother? It's like, he's funny, man. He tried to keep me loose, and also just checking on the fight. He's you know, congratulations on the baby. Like, dude, he's a good dude, man. He's a really, really good dude. He just cares. You know, you're watching a guy that when you got to AKA, they were at the top and you were just kind of beginning. And now you guys are all at the same level if you haven't exceeded that. But you're watching this guy that took an investment in you early go out and try to do something special on the way out.
By the way, I'll admit, it's been a minute since I watched the countdown show, but I watched it last night.
You did?
You made the cut. Well,
yeah, we did.
Well, you made the cut. It was a bit of a zoomed in cut, if you know what I'm saying. The day they were filming made the cut, but I
almost got in, dog. It was close. It was close. I fought for you.
You did.
Now the reality is that's probably gonna be about as close as you'll get for a long time. Like, that is probably the closest you're gonna get for a while. But I fought for you. It didn't work though.
Listen, after the fight, you go to the back. Unfortunately, not going to be there. It sucks. And I know you're torn up about this. It's a very sore subject. But when you do that post-fight interview with Rogan, you're going to give a shot. Like, will you do something? Will you do like a this? Will you do like a sign? Maybe you give a plug to the show. Like, what is the plan? What are we thinking?
Honestly, man, I haven't even thought about that.
Okay.
Like, I've been asked that, like, about, like, what happens, do you take your gloves off in the octagon? Do you do this, and the other? I said, I want to live in the moment. Like, I want to live in this moment to prepare for this fight. I don't want to think about what's after. Like, I don't want to, go into the after fight deals. Like, I'm not gonna. I'm not doing that this time. Like, I'm just living in this moment. I've been trying to not look and think about what happens after I get the belt back. Like, I just want to get this one. Like, this one I need to get. I want to win this fight so bad, and I just don't understand and don't think about what's next. It's hard. But yeah, I'll probably have some fun out there, but I don't know exactly what that's going to entail.
I was just wondering, like, the shout out that you were going to give me, if you're going to say something about me, the show. Just
Yeah,
like,
I don't know about it.
yeah,
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know.
Sounds like you're not, but anyway. In the countdown show, Rosendo said the last time going into the last fight, it was, so much going on. You had so much, the wrestling team, all that stuff. This time, can you feel a difference? Like, is it fair to say this training camp was drastically different than the last one?
Yes, it was much different. It was different in the sense that this is the first time I've had a training camp like this in years, where I had nothing outside. I didn't have outside circumstances to think about. Like, I was wrestling coaching. I had a lot of media appearances. I was still doing stuff on television. Like, I did a lot of things going into the fight that I probably should have cut back on. And, the pandemic has made me take a better approach to what I'm trying to do. I'm at home. I'm training. Everything's been focused on the fight. And it's allowed for me to prepare better. I thought Rosendo, I saw a couple of the clips, and he did a great job of explaining things, because he's as close to me as anybody is, and the frustration that he felt was felt by everybody, by Javier, by Bob, by Leandro, by Rudy, by Chris, everybody felt the same. Like, you're spreading yourself too thin. You need to go and get ready for this fight. You're fighting for the heavyweight championship of the world, but I'm hard-headed. I would leave AKA at 2:15, be home by 2:45. I'd lay on the couch till 3:15, 3:20, then I'll drive to wrestling practice. And I'd be there till 6:30, 7 o'clock, time to go and do my cardio. So it was just too much. And as much as I love the sport, for this to be my final fight, I needed to commit myself to it in the right way. And you definitely can feel that.
Do you think you'll get nervous this week? Do you think you'll get nervous on Saturday?
I get nervous every time. I get nervous every single time I fight. I get nervous. I get nervous. I get a tad bit scared. I think if you don't have that, you're not ready to go. But I think the nerves are competitive. I think that they're not me being fearful of anybody. I'm not afraid of anybody. But the competitive nerves get me a little bit at times, and it's good, though, because when they don't come, I don't feel confident going into the fight. I need them.
Do you feel like he's going to fight upset? He seems mad, right? Like he said, like they talk about the fluke and how he doesn't like you now and all this stuff. Are you counting on the fact that he's going to fight emotionally, that he's going to fight mad?
I don't think he's going to fight mad. I think he's going to just fight. I think he's going to fight. I think he's got great coaches, and I think that they can reel him in. I think he's a great fighter. I think he's very tough. I think he's very durable. I think he's got great skill. I don't believe he's going to fight mad. I do believe that the mentality of the fight is a little bit skewed, because if they're saying the first fight was a fluke and the last fight just showed that he's so much better, I think it's a false sense of like reality. It wasn't a fight where it was so easy and he dominated me from start to finish. I don't know. I kind of like that, though. I kind of like the idea that it is in their minds an easier fight. And it is a fight that he's supposed to win. And it's just going to be this, and this. It's like, I kind of enjoy that they overlook me, because that's good. It's motivation. I don't know how you overlook a guy that beat you before, but I'm not looking past Stipe Miocic. I'm not going to disrespect him in any way in terms of the fight, because last time I felt like I did and it cost me. But, yeah, I'm happy that they feel like that. I really am.
This is so rare, not only in fighting, but also in sports as well. Very, very rarely do we know going into a match, going into a fight, going into a game, that this is the end for a particular athlete, right? It's so rare. Like sometimes, like even with Jordan against the Jazz, there were the rumors, but we didn't know that it was going to be the end, and eventually it wasn't the end. But you know what I'm saying? John Elway, rumors, this and that, Lennox Lewis, but with you, like you have said unequivocally, this is it. And I'm just wondering, when did you to concoct a plan like this, to fight for the heavyweight championship of the world in your final fight, and if all goes well for you on Saturday, like that's just the stuff that every fighter dreams of. Do you remember the first time you thought, if I can time, because you don't always get to time it this way. You could have a retirement fight and it's like a prelim fight or the first fight on the main card. When did you start thinking about this would be the perfect way for me? Do you remember?
Well, I knew right away when, after I lost last year, I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do. And honestly, like, they called me right away hey, what do you think? And I was like, I don't know. And then right around November, they were like, what do you want to do? And I was like, so the reality is they called me and said something about maybe Stipe was going to fight Jones. And I was like, okay, then I'm done. Okay, then that's my answer. I'm done. I'm not going to fight again because I was only going to fight Miocic. And then they were like, okay, do you want to fight anyone else? And I was like, no. And then they're like, okay, all right, I'll call you back. And then I got a call back, and it was like, well, okay, we'll try to make the Miocic fight for you. And I knew that was going to be it because I just in my like in my mind and body, I just don't have that desire to fight anyone else, right? Like I felt like I could get up and ready for this one, and I didn't know if I could do that for anybody else. So I was like, it'll be Miocic, and Miocic is the champion, and it worked out. So it was great, but it wasn't like some great plan that I came up with. I took some time to figure out what I was going to do. And when I made a decision, I told them what I was going to do. And they said, okay.
Any fear that you're putting too much pressure on yourself? I have to win this one, the retirement, all that stuff?
No, I have to just compete to the best of my ability. I have to fight like me. Like, that's it. Like, last fight, I didn't fight like me. Like, I fought crazy. I fought emotional. I did all these things that I shouldn't have done. If I fight like me, then I'll be fine. Like, I'm a better fighter than Stipe Miocic. I really do believe that. And if I just give my best and I win, that's the best thing in the world. But if I don't win and I fight to my potential, I could be okay. I mean, it'll bother me. I'm the most competitive person in the world. It'll sit with me for the rest of my life, and it'll burn at me. But I'll be okay with dealing with it because I did everything the right way going into the fight. I just believe that I'm going to win the fight Saturday. Like, I don't know how to explain it. I have this feeling inside of my body that I'm going to win this fight, and I'm going to win the fight going away.
Two last things. I know that you always like to have big groups, massive groups with you, right? The whole crew, the whole family. This time's a little different, right?
Yes, it is.
I don't think your kids are going to be there. I think your wife is staying home, right? Because she's pregnant. Smart move. How do you feel about that? Kind of being solo here.
I feel like, it was hard saying bye to my children and my wife on Sunday. That's tough. I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all, but it's the reality of the situation, but I'm surrounded by my army. We're an army. We're going to go out and we're going to represent. Like, that's what we do. We're going to battle. I still got my guys. I got my friends. I got Bunch still. Sean Bunch never misses. I got Deron Wynn. I got Kyle Crutchmer, Nick Piccinini, Tiago, all my coaches. Every one of my coaches is still here. My cousin Terry still coming on the weekend. Like, there's still going to be a lot of people. They're going to all get together and they're going to watch the fight. And then when I get done, we're all going to celebrate together. But yeah, usually there's 60 people at these fights for me. But that's not the world we live in today. So that's different, but it's okay. It's just, this is my mission. This is for me to go accomplish. That's what I'm going to do.
I'm not saying this is better, but I remember when I first met you at the Apple store on the phone as you were preparing for your Strikeforce Challengers fight against Gary Frazier. You didn't have any of that, right? You were a guy sleeping on the floor at Bob Cook's house. So in a weird way, it's almost symbolic how it's come full circle. You're alone now again, right?
Yeah. And, I'm not alone all week, but in that octagon, it's me and my coaches. And I would not want to be surrounded by four better guys. Ro, Bob, Hav, and Leandro. Those are my guys. Bob and Hav have been there from day one, and it's exciting. In regards to the fight, like I was telling you earlier, I respect Stipe and those guys, but the fight was a good fight. But you got to remember, I won the vast majority of that fight, and he made an adjustment. Ariel. He made an adjustment that won him the fight. But the reality is, you only get to make that adjustment one time. You only get to do that once. You don't get to that going to the body like that is not going to be available because you have to go fix that as a competitor. And that's what I did. So that adjustment was great, but you only get to do that once. You don't get to go in and get beat up for 15 minutes again and then make that same adjustment. That happens one time. And that won't be available because you go fix that. And that's what I've done. And when trying to fix that, I've seen some obvious opportunities for me also.
How much you expect to weigh Friday?
I'm hoping to be like 240. I want to be a little bit heavier than last time, 240, 242, somewhere in that range. I'd like to be about that. I don't care what he weighs. I don't care if he's small. I just feel like I fight my best when I'm around there. I just feel like I was able to get stronger during the training camp, be able to do some things that I hadn't done before because, I wasn't 100% ready to fight.
Last thing, people have been on this journey with you from the beginning in this particular camp, doing the show every week. Fans have kind of watched the evolution when you were, a little bigger, a little anything you want to say to the people who have been there from the beginning, from the journey, from the start, the whole thing?
When I think about this whole thing, I came here as a wrestler who didn't get to compete in the Olympics because he didn't cut his weight right. So there wasn't much value in Daniel Cormier's name coming from wrestling mixed martial arts. But when I came to this sport, this whole new world, people embraced me, as the portly guy that could fight and would just give it his all. And I appreciated every bit of that. To my managers, Bob and Dwayne, to my coaches, Javier, Rosendo, Leandro, Rudy, Chris, the old guys, Weedsy, rest in peace, Dave Camarillo, Javi, rest in peace, like all the guys, Teddy, that is now a cut man for the UFC, all the guys that have taken an interest in my career. I appreciate you guys and I love you. To my teammates, you guys have given me every bit of yourselves. Kane and Luke, you stand out above anyone else because we did this thing together and we went to the moon. All three of us got to stand at the pinnacle of our sport. And I love you guys for taking me on the journey with you. Everybody else in my gym, thank you guys for loving and caring for me the way that you did. Joanna, I want to thank Joanna because she worked so hard in the gym. I want to thank Cassandra for all the times that she's put up with me. Heidi Siebert, who used to work in that role before. My family, who have been so supportive. I love them. The sacrifices that Selena and the kids have had to make are second to none. And then for the fans, I love you guys. Like, I know I can get a bit much at times. I can be annoying. I can be a bit clunky. There are a lot of things that come with Daniel Cormier. But the reality is I love each and every one of you, and I appreciate you guys and the support. From the cheers to the boos, it was worth it, man. It was warranted. I love it. I love every bit of it. And on Saturday night, I go and have one more of those shining moments. And Ariel, thank you for covering me from day one. I've had to do interviews and I've had to tell guys over and over how I appreciate all that they've done because the media has done a great job of profiling me and putting an idea of me out there that at times I think is even too big. I think sometimes you guys make me look too good, and I appreciate that. The UFC, Dana White, Strike Force, everybody. Scott Coker. It's been tremendous. It's been a journey that I never could have imagined going on in, and I can't wait till Saturday to go out there and do it again.
One more fight week. One more fight on Saturday, headlining UFC 252, Daniel Cormier. Just sit right there. We're going to bring in a guy who knows you very well, Funky Ben Askren, but it wouldn't be DC and Helwani if I don't do a little Modelo ad read here as we bring in Mr. Askren. Let me tell you, DC, about the guys who were with us from the beginning of this particular journey. Modelo Especial. They're good friends of the show. They're brewed for those with a fighting spirit. Modelo is the official beer of the UFC and partners with UFC double champ Amanda Nunes because she, like Daniel Cormier, has the fighting spirit, which means to never give up, even when the odds are against you. Great fighters, they're like great beers. It doesn't matter where you come from, if you're from Louisiana, if you're from Ohio, it doesn't matter where you come from, it's what you're made of. That's what makes Modelo the gold standard since 1925. Modelo is a Pilsner-style lager that set the standard for authentic Mexican beer. Modelo uses premium hops to give the golden lager its crisp taste. So when you're watching UFC 252 on Saturday, make sure you've got a crisp Modelo Especial within reach. Modelo, brewed for those with a fighting spirit. Drink responsibly. Beer imported. Crown Imports, Chicago, Illinois. There he is, the teammate from 2008, Funky Ben.
What's up, Ben?
How you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Just sitting here doing the show and about to pass it off to the man. Don't be too good now, Askren. Don't be too good. Don't be too good, Askren. I might lose the show.
Hey, I was thinking back, Daniel, I don't think I've ever given you advice in my life. And, as I thought back through your MMA career and my MMA career, I remember there was a one time in 2009. I don't think you had a fight. I don't think I'd fought for Bellator. And, I stopped down to San Jose. And we're in the gym, and you said, hey, Ben, listen, there's this fat guy. I'm going to let you go with him. So, I beat this dude up for a round. So usually I beat him up. And then I was going with John Fitch, who at the time was very good. And, I was standing up there striking. And I remember you standing there, hey, Ben, dumbass, why aren't you taking him down? And I thought the point was to, work on my striking. And he said, nah, just take him down, Ben. You're good at that. So I just want to remind you, you are world-class. You are a United States World Team member 6 years straight. You can take this man down anytime you want Saturday night, just in case you forgot.
Ben, I appreciate it, man. Listen, trust me, Ben, Big Ben, I do intend to go take him down much more because I'm just going to – the longer I can extend the wrestling sequences, the better off I'll be for it, right? If it's one shot, one sprawl, sure, he can defend that. But if it's a shot, a re-attack, if I'm putting him in scrambles, I will always win that over Stipe Miocic. So I intend on putting him in all those positions this weekend. You're the man, Ben. My man. Ariel, thank you guys. Ben, enjoy the show. Have fun. The guys are great. Sean, Troy, Jake, I'll see you guys next week or in a couple weeks. We'll figure it out. But I'll talk to you guys later. Because guess what? The champ makes the rules. The champ makes the rules, baby. And after Saturday, I'm the champ. I'll see you guys later. Bye.
See you, DC. Good luck to you. There he is, Daniel Cormier, who is fighting on Saturday. So now Ben Askren gets tagged in to help us out here. Ben, thank you for doing this.
You're in trouble, Ariel. You've been coming at me on Twitter for a few weeks here. I get you face to face finally.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the good news is they asked me for like my top 5 choices. None of those people were available, so luckily you were available to fill in for Daniel. So I appreciate the time. Let's get into this past Saturday. You were tweeting a lot about Derrick Lewis.
Yeah.
And it sounds like you were even offering him like I don't know, some advice. Like, could you train? Yeah. Are you interested in training Derrick Lewis? Because it seemed like in the first round there at the end of that fight against Alexei Oleinik, eventually he won, of course. In the second, you weren't all that impressed with his grappling.
No. So, I mean, like, I don't really have an interest in like training. I'm not going to go to Houston and train him full time or anything, right? But he's really, really good. And I literally think like I could help him with, say, like 3 or 4 positions, and he would be like 3 times as hard to take down. And listen, if they can't take him down at heavyweight, he's a problem for most people in that division.
Do you think that if he fights, say, a Curtis Blades, who afterwards he said he was somewhat interested in Blades, been asking to fight him, who is very good on the ground, this iteration of Derrick Lewis can stand with him? Can not stand like as in stand and trade, can hang with him? Or do you think he has a long way to go and he can hang with a guy like Curtis Blades?
Yeah, I mean, Curtis Blades is very proficient with the takedowns, obviously, right? So he would need to definitely shore up some holes in the game that he gives up. For example, like the head outside where the guys dump him. That happened a couple times against Oleinik. It was off the half guard sweep. Daniel used it against Derrick Lewis when he fought him at MSG. So, just a few positions like that. Like, I don't think he's already a really good athlete. He obviously knows how to fight. It wouldn't be that hard to just shore up a couple positions, and all of a sudden he's way harder to take down.
That finishing sequence at the end of the first round, how much does that hurt? Like, he said he couldn't breathe, and he was, and we all know how strong Oleinik is, right?
Yes.
What he could do. How much do you think that hurt?
Well, I always thought that was fake news, and there was no way you could choke someone out with that. And then I was training at Evolve in Singapore, and the coach at the time was Greco Olympian Heath Sims, right, who was at Team Quest for a while. And he told me, well, just do this little adjustment. The adjustment is you slide a little bit lower. And, wrestling, you're trying to pin the shoulders so you stay up higher. He said, slide a little lower and you really lean back on it. I started tapping people out with it. Like, I thought it was fake news, but he convinced me to use it, and I started getting people in practice with it.
That moment after the fight when he's doing the post-fight interview and he says that he has to go to the bathroom. Honestly, see, I love Derrick Lewis, but I think he planned that. I think he knew and did, and it was great. But I think he knew that he was on air. What do you think?
I'll go coin flip. I'll go 50-50 on that. Yeah, I think there's definitely a possibility that he knew and he was just being funny. He's funny because did you see that little Instagram video he did where he kept calling Alexis and he spit on his food? He kept saying, I got her food or something.
Yes, and then he spit on it. Supposedly it was his food. But not to take away from him, but I do think that that he knew that he was on air. It was still great. So
No,
if it
that's
was
era, but how's that taken away from him? I think that's a credit to him
Sure.
being crafty because, you know, there's guys like you who maybe you're smart enough to see behind the curtain, but there's a whole bunch of marks, right? Probably like 98% of them are marks who they think that this man really admitted he had to take a shit on air.
By the way, speaking of marks, I don't know why I just thought of this now, but you made me think of wrestling. What about the passing of Kamala Harris? Not Kamala Harris, God, James Harris.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. James Harris, Kamala. It is crazy that I never even put 2 and 2 together there. Kamala, the Ugandan giant,
Yes.
AKA James Harris. Boy, did I screw that one up. Did you hear that news?
It's close up. You know what? I watched a little bit of WWE, and
You weren't a big fan back in the day?
A little bit, not huge, not like you. I know Daniel's a big WWE fan. I was a little bit of a fan.
I'm shocked. I thought that you didn't watch like AW. I feel like that was like right up. No,
you're a little older than me.
How old are you?
36.
I'm 38. Not that much.
Yeah,
older.
a couple of years.
But you didn't watch like Hulk Hogan in the 80s? You didn't watch?
I watched a little bit. Like I was like, you know, if it was on TV, I'd watch it, but I wasn't like going to events or I wasn't following all the stuff. And, you know, maybe if one of my friends got like, you know, a SummerSlam or something, I'd go watch it. But no, not hardcore.
Oh my gosh, I'm blown away. Just because you get the promotion side of things.
Yeah.
I'm shocked by that. Later in life, did you watch it?
Yeah. Well, so I actually became, I wouldn't say I watched it, but I became more of a fan of like, you know, you talk about it, Chael talks about it.
Yeah.
And just, you know, they get the show business. I always talk about this in real wrestling, Ariel. It's like, okay, listen, one of these is wrestling was wrestling. If you go like, say like 80 years back, 100 years back, wrestling was wrestling. They diverged because one group wanted to make it a little more exciting. And so even if you go to like the 1950s, 60s, it was like kind of real wrestling, but not really, a little bit scripted. And then it got more and more scripted as it goes on. Obviously, WWE is significantly more popular than real wrestling, and it's scripted results. It's fake, right? It's not real. And so, like, yes, there is a lot to be learned from them. And you know, most real wrestling people kind of scoff at them, but I think there's a lot to be learned.
I still can't believe I said Kamala Harris, but you understand why I did, though, right? Because the guy's real name is James Harris.
His last name was Harris.
Yes. Oh my God, I really botched that. I'm nervous in front of you. What can I say, Ben? All right, so Derrick Lewis, he's in the picture. I think, you know, this is not something that we talked about with DC. I asked him about the pressure. I think there's almost zero pressure on Stipe's shoulders going into this fight, and I'll explain why with heavyweight division. Okay, DC's saying, you know, like, retire. He wants to retire. He wants to set off into the sunset with the belt and all that stuff.
Yes. If
Stipe loses, there's a very good chance they just do Francis versus Stipe for the vacant title. So he'll get another crack at the belt.
I was thinking here's how I think the matchups go. Because I was thinking about this. I don't think they'd throw Stipe back in there when he lost. Because he's been kind of difficult to deal with. And you know how the UFC likes to deal with people who are difficult to deal with, right?
Yeah.
So here's what I think they do. You ready for my stupid idea?
Okay.
If DC wins and says I'm out, which I think that's probably my likelihood of happening. I think they go Derrick Lewis and Ngannou, although the first fight was bad, and Curtis Blades, Miocic. That's what I think they do. I would even be open to it being like a Grand Prix where the winner faces the winner for the title. But I think, you know, they want Ngannou. They'd probably prefer him to have the belt. So they put him with the guy he's most likely to beat.
Oh, you know what? I don't hate that. And then also, to your previous point, Curtis has been, you know, ruffling some feathers as of late as well.
Yeah.
So you put the two malcontents together for the for the top contender spot, and you put Derrick and you know, I think a lot of people would scoff at the idea of Derrick fighting Francis. I don't hate that idea. I think that fight was just a weird anomaly. I think Francis was coming off the loss. He was a little bit, you know, gun shy. You have Derrick, who had a bad back, who, you know, could hardly move that day. I think that second fight goes dramatically different than the first.
Yeah, and they're both guys, regardless of the fact that the first fight didn't go that well. You kind of just skip that, right, in the promotion. Yeah, they're both guys who you want to watch, kind of for different reasons, right? Like Derrick Lewis, I want him to get the microphone because I know he's going to say something funny, whether he's planning it or not. To your point, I want to hear what the man's got to say. I'm going to listen to Derrick Lewis. For instance, Ngannou, you know, like the last fight, it was kind of some wild haymaker punches, but when he lands, it lands hard. So yeah. Listen, I'm going to watch him because he can put people out like that.
All right, let's talk about the co-main now. Chris Weidman wins. He beats Omari Akhmedov. First win in 3 years. Had lost 5 of 6 going into this fight. Back down to 185. Can I just say something? I feel like Chris Weidman got a lot of crap after this fight. People say he wasn't impressive. Omari's a really tough guy,
Yes.
unbeaten in his last 6. And at the end of the day, is there anything wrong with just doing what you need to do to win? He won the first round, clearly lost the second, and then dominated the third. What's wrong with that? I don't understand why everyone's so down on Chris's performance.
Yeah, I would say I think it's because how good he has previously been, and they measure him versus that versus measuring him versus what he did. I will say, I think after watching that fight, it's pretty obvious that Chris Weidman has lost a step from where he was. But I love the grittiness he showed to get it done. Listen, they were both exhausted after round 2. It was 1-1, and one of those guys was going to figure out a way to get their hand raised, and Chris did it in dominant fashion in the third round. So. Man, I don't know how much longer he's got. I think it's clear that he's kind of lost a step from where he was at when he was the champion. But, man, awesome, gritty performance. That was just definitely something to be proud of for Chris.
I think what added to the hate that he received afterwards, or maybe the criticism or whatever, is what he said. He said, "I'm back." And people are like, well, no, you're not really back, right? Do you think he can make a run at 185 right now?
Shoot. Well, you got the rankings up?
Well, what are those rankings? Let's be honest.
He's number 12. Yeah, the rankings.
No, actually, he was unranked. He was unranked.
Chris was.
Yeah, Chris was. Yeah.
But Akhmedov was like 11, right. 11 or something like that. Yeah. Like I said, I think Chris has lost a step. I think it's going to be difficult for him to move up all that high. But I'm going to get the rankings up here, and but there's guys on that list that I think he could beat for sure, but is he going to go with Adesanya or Kelvin Gastelum?
Could he beat a Derek Brunson?
Yes, I think so.
I mean, so then he's still a player.
Yeah, I think he's still a player. Is he going to go get the title? I would love to see Chris win it again, but that's a tough sell for me right now.
Okay, so here's the thing. To me, if I were managing him, don't even care about the title. Forget about the title. Let's just get a whole bunch of other Omari Akhmedovs. Like, just get wins at this point. Let's get 3 in a row. Let's get 4 in a row. And that was the one thing I didn't like about what he said afterwards. Forget about the title picture. Forget about being a contender. Forget about all of that. Just go on a little run here. You know what I mean? At the end, just get your confidence back. Just get your mojo back. Now, the one name that I heard people keep talking about afterwards was Luke Rockhold. And then on Sunday night, Luke texts me, essentially saying I'm back and essentially implying that he wants Weidman again. Now, let me ask you this. 2 things. A, what do you think of Luke coming back? He never officially retired, but he just told me late last year, very possible he's done. Didn't want to close the door, but it sounded like he had a foot out the door. And B, if you're down with him coming back, what do you think of the idea of him rematching Chris Weidman?
Okay, so that's a lot of questions there. Well, I never really figured he was done, right? He never really said I'm retired, and I just felt like he's like my age-ish, but he still feels like he's young. I know he's got a lot of fight left in him. So I did think he was always going to come back. Now, what is Luke's last win at 185?
I believe it was the David Branch fight.
So it's been a while.
It's been a while, yeah.
So I think you can match those 2 up. I think it would provide some excitement. Obviously, they had the title fight. Yeah, I'm in for that. All right. So I just brought up the rankings also at middleweight. I think you could match Weidman with maybe an Edmund, right, who just had that bad loss, he's number 10.
Okay.
That's interesting, right? Because if Chris beats him,
yeah,
you can start bumping him back up.
Yeah.
If Edmund wins, you can say now he's got to win over a former champion, right? That win can be valuable to both parties. And I think if you're the promoter, you're looking at can I do a matchup where no matter who wins, I'm going to be able to push someone up, and that would be a good one for me.
Yeah, I don't like the idea of him fighting Rockhold right off the bat. I don't like that at all. I want to build those guys back up. You remember they were supposed to rematch at UFC 199, and I thought that was a mistake. Mm-hmm. I'm not a big fan of a guy losing the title and then, especially like via knockout or whatever, and then getting that immediate rematch. I like the idea of building them back up. Obviously, this DC Stipe fight is a little different. It's his retirement fight. I get it. But to me, I like the Edmund idea, maybe a little more, just build him back up. I just don't understand all the hate that Rockhold gets. I reported this earlier this morning.
People hate Luke Rockhold.
Oh my God, look at the comments. Why do people hate Luke Rockhold so much?
Listen, I you know what? I probably in that trip I was talking about where I worked out Daniel, I worked out with Luke also. So we developed a kind of a friendship long time ago. And I like the guy. I get along with him. People freaking hate Luke Rockhold. He comes off a little bit arrogant. I would say that for sure. I think that's kind of part of his shtick, or, I don't think it's totally he just doesn't know that's how he's coming up. I think he tries to attempt to be that way. Good looking guy, got a modeling thing going, and he's kind of a dick also a little bit. So I think he's got that going for him. But I mean, it's definitely what you want as a fighter. You want people to love you. You want people to hate you. You want to be one or the other. You don't want people to not care.
Who wins if they book that fight? Let's say in December, Weidman or Rockhold?
Oh God, that's tough because we haven't seen Rockhold in a long time. Obviously, he bumped up to light heavyweight to fight Jan Blachowicz. Right. I'm gonna go Rockhold in a close one.
Wow. Okay. By the way, what's going on with you and your trees in your backyard over there? What was that video?
I'm cutting them all down.
Why?
I'm building a disc golf course.
You're still building this? I feel like you've been talking about this for 2 years.
It's 23 holes. You don't know what I was doing with in the beginning. I mean, I probably cut down like 200 trees. You know, then you can do the stump grinding. You know, I got some guys out there raking up right now. Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
You're like the Lorax guy. You ever see that movie?
No.
Where you kill all the trees?
I'm a movie guy. People make fun of me because I don't really watch too many movies.
Neither am I. But the guy who kills all the trees. Like, you're like, why do you want to get rid of all these trees?
Well, I mostly leave the good ones. So here's if you want to know about my process, here's what I do. Okay. I kind of look at how the land laid out, and then I say, okay, this is a really good tree. This is a good one. So, I'm not going to cut the big ass trees down. I'm only going to cut the rinky dink ones. So I kind of like, have the fairway going here. And then maybe if I need to cut out like one big tree, I'll do it. But I try to leave the nice big ones up.
Why 23 holes?
You know what? That's just how it turned out. And I thought I'm not going to be boxed in by the fact that you should have 18 holes, right? That's a typical round of golf or disc golf.
Yeah.
I started laying it out and I'm like, there should be one more here. There should be one more there. I'm not going to be boxed in by society's norms of 18 holes.
No, I respect that. Now, like, how often will you actually use this?
Well, I've probably been playing like 2 to 3 rounds a week, but
oh wow,
a lot of it's a lot of it's because I've been building, right? So in my spare time, I go build it right now. So I do that too. And then secondly, I have, I only have 3 young kids. So I actually set up a kids course within the course, and they play that with me so that, we can get out as a family.
Who do you play with when you're doing the actual course?
There's some friends that disc golf.
Wow.
Yeah. I couldn't have you would, if I had you come over, we'd play the kids course.
Yeah. I mean, wow. Hey, you want to come over and play some disc golf with me? I can't imagine.
You're just salty because you haven't left your apartment in 6 months.
Apartment? What do you think I am? I live in a house, Ben. I'm a grown man over here. Apartment.
I thought you live in New York City. Don't they all have apartments there?
So much you have to. It'd be nice if you got to know me a little more. Okay. DC.
You live in Long Island. You're a Long Islander. Huh?
I'm not a Long Island guy. Okay, that's corporate Jake.
You're upstate.
We've got some bills to pay here, Ben. So sit tight. Let me tell you about our good friends over at DraftKings, Ben. This is a real show. It's not one of these, little podcasts you do that no one listens to. Okay, we got actual sponsors here, and we got DraftKings. All right, the hits keep on coming, Ben. From one MMA event to the next, we grow in excitement and anticipation leading up to UFC 252 going down this Saturday. We've got Daniel Cormier against Stipe Miocic. Oh my gosh, and there's no better place to get in on all the action than DraftKings, the leader in one-day fantasy sports. For this weekend's fight card, DraftKings is offering new users a free shot at, get this, $1 million in total prizes. If you haven't tried it yet, Fantasy MMA is very easy to play. Just pick 6 fighters, stay under the salary cap, and pile up points for advances, takedowns, and more. There's no better way to put your MMA knowledge to the test than to compete for a free shot at $1 million in total prizes. But if MMA isn't for you, don't worry. DraftKings is offering plenty of fantasy contests for all of the sports that have returned to action. Plus, new this year, DraftKings just launched Best Ball contest for football. If you aren't familiar with Best Ball, simply head to the app right now and check it out. Download the DraftKings app right now. Use the promo code Askren. Just kidding. Use the promo code Ariel, Ariel. That would have pissed off DC, to get a free shot at $1 million in total prizes for this weekend's UFC 252 contest. That's promo code Ariel, Ariel, to get a free shot at the $1 million prize with your first deposit. Only at DraftKings. Minimum $5 deposit required. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com for details. Now, please support them because they support us. Ben, we got to talk about a topic that you know a hell of a lot about.
Let's do it.
Bellator MMA.
Yeah, I watched on Friday night.
Okay, before we get to Friday night, let's talk about the big news. Corey Anderson, who was not a free agent, as I take my glasses off, who was not a free agent.
Is that a dig?
No, this wasn't a dig. I
remember that's how I retweeted you. I said I didn't know he's a free agent because I misread your post. Like
No, but it's okay. Yes, I did see that. I was going to reply to you and correct you, but I felt bad.
Dude, I told you I was doing a show.
That's what you get for like Bogarting them down here. And you kept the door open too. It's not
Dude,
me.
get the keys and get out of here.
Who is this? Is that your son?
Freaking kids, right? I told you I'm doing a
that's your
podcast. Like, leave me alone.
That's your son?
Yeah.
Wait, how old is your oldest son?
I got 4 kids.
Oh, but you just said you had 3 young. Okay, well, how old's the oldest?
Oh, he's 20.
You have a 20-year-old son?
Yeah.
I thought that was Chase Hooper.
No, that was my kid.
You're joking, right?
No. I mean, I don't talk about it a lot, but yeah, I had a kid when I was in high school.
You're kidding.
No, I mean, I don't talk about it because he's obviously out of the house right now. So, he's off at college, but he's home. Yeah.
You had a kid when you were in high school? How old were you?
16.
Is this awkward right now?
No, it's fine.
I mean, he just walked into our show, so I kind of feel like it's fair game.
Yeah, I mean, dude, listen, Ariel, you got kids too. Sometimes they don't freaking listen. They're annoying, right?
But not when they're 20.
Listen, he's home from college. He's a pain in the butt. And, he just walked in on the show. I guess I did leave the door open accidentally. I didn't lock it.
Is he a wrestler?
He wrestled a little bit.
What does he do?
He's in college.
Well, like, what does he want to do?
I think he wants to be an engineer.
Okay, so no wrestling, no athletics.
He wrestled a little bit. He never got all that much into it. He throws a little bit of disc golf. Yeah, that's about it.
Wow, this is fascinating.
Uh-huh.
You were 16 when you had your first kid? That's wild. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And oh my God, I have so many questions. And so you have 4 kids. This
Yes.
is okay. Are you guys tight? I mean, you have a good relationship?
Yeah, it's good. Uh-huh. I mean, obviously he doesn't live here anymore.
Sure. Where does he go to school?
University of Madison.
Oh my gosh, this is
right down the road.
amazing. Is this the first time you've ever talked about this publicly?
Yeah.
Why? Why have you kept it under wraps?
It just never came up.
What do you mean? You just casually mentioned before you had 3 young kids.
Well, yeah, we were talking about the kids course, so I thought that was relevant to the kids course. I guess.
Did he ever go to any of your fights?
What?
Did he ever go to any of your fights?
No, I didn't really take any of my kids to any of my fights. I don't know. It was just like my wife and I want to go. I always feel like I want to keep my kids away from fighting. Fighting's a dirty business, man. It is.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I know. Okay. Wow.
Right?
I know. Trust me. No one knows better than me. Wow. 16 years old. I didn't realize you were a gangster like that, Ben. I
Yeah.
didn't know you rolled like that.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Can we get back to the show already?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry that my son interrupted the show, but can we get back to the show?
Sorry. Corey Anderson asked to be released and signed with Bellator like 12 hours later. What do you make of this move?
Well, there had to be something going on behind the scenes, obviously, right? You're not going to ask to be released and have somewhere else to go in 12 hours.
Sure. Are you surprised the UFC released him?
Totally surprised. Yes.
Coming off a loss?
Think about the Ariel. UFC has not released almost anybody, and so Corey, let alone a top 5 guy. He's a top 5 guy. I know maybe they think he's not a huge draw, and maybe they think he's been a little bit hard to deal with. But, I mean, why wouldn't you just keep him, right?
Top 4 fighter right now, according to the rankings, coming off a knockout loss to Jan. Maybe another guy who's been a little bit outspoken, right?
Absolutely.
Maybe they felt, all right, you want out.
But
I give them credit.
They usually ice those guys, Ariel.
Yeah.
They usually give them tough fights or make them wait a long time or don't promote them, put them on the undercard. There's been a lot of ways historically the UFC has dealt with guys who are hard to deal with. Releasing them is not usually one of them. But the other thing, Ray Borg was also released this week, right?
Yeah,
so maybe it's one of those things where they feel like they're going to get themselves in trouble by not fulfilling obligations. That was my only thought.
I don't know. I mean, I just think that, look, I'll give credit where credit's due. I think his manager, Ali Abdelaziz, has a great relationship with UFC, and he got it done. I think we got to give him credit for that one because I don't know if a lot of other managers can get that done. I think Corey's happy, and DC's been glowing about him. DC's been training with him for this.
Yep, I saw that.
Yeah, and he said, like, this guy's way better than we think he is. So my question is, all right, fresh coat of paint, new spot, seems happy. Could he beat Ryan Bader? Is he that good? Or do you think he's a notch below him? Like, I think it's a good – I actually think this is a good move for everyone involved. He wasn't, like, moving the needle for UFC. He wasn't your typical, like, draw headliner. He wants out. He's getting a huge pay raise from what I understand.
Yeah, huge pay raise. Because he was still on that damn tough contract.
Yes. And Bellator is saying, hey, we just got a top 4 UFC guy. Like, you can't deny that. He had won 4 in a row. He beat Johnny Walker, beat Glover Teixeira. We've got clearly 205 is their weakest division.
Yes.
So we've got a potential guy. I actually feel like everyone wins here.
Everyone wins. I was just talking about this yesterday with my other podcast host, which you would not like me to mention.
What? Stop pretending like first of all,
the greatest mind in the business for
Is it a podcast? Is it a podcast when it's just two people talking and no one listens? Like, that's just a phone call.
A lot of people listen. Anyways, okay. So, like, I think MMA promotions need to learn from this a little bit, Ariel. Like with my trade with Demetrius Johnson, that was beneficial to both parties. That was great for one championship. It was great for the UFC. And, like a Michael Chandler, another guy I think maybe we're going to talk about a little bit later.
Yep.
Who else is he going to fight in Bellator? He's fought them all. There's no one else that's really that exciting. Now you throw him in the UFC, you throw him in one championship. Now there's some other exciting fights for him. But you know what? I always feel like when people stick around one promotion and they've generally fought almost everybody, trading them, like, I think I would love it if the MMA promotions did more trades. I thought that was really cool. I think the fans would love it. Like, let me think. Who would be someone really good that you'd love to see in Bellator? Like Dustin Poirier or someone at 170, right? Can they go Colby, right? He's complaining. Get rid of his ass. Can he go beat Douglas Lima and Andrei Koreshkov and Michael Page?
How about Colby for Dillon Danis?
Yeah, do that one first.
Wouldn't that be fun? Are you going to fight Dillon Danis? Is this happening?
Dude, I'm literally getting – okay, so first of all, this idiot. I'm under contract with UFC. He's under contract with Bellator. I'm getting a new hip in 22 days from now.
Okay.
I'm literally going under the knife. So I'll be out for a year. And I'm officially retired. I don't really have any plans of coming back. So no, I think it's highly unlikely. This jabroni just needs to fight someone with a winning record. I mean, he's literally never fought anyone with a winning record. He's like this dope AJ Argazum or whatever his damn name is, who can't beat anyone who's halfway average.
Ben, can I be honest with you right now?
Yes.
I think you with the bad hip schools Dillon Danis.
Well, probably. I mean, I'm like disabled right now. That's how bad
really?
it is. But yes, I think I school him. He's terrible. He's literally never beaten anyone with a winning record. Like,
do you appreciate the shtick though? I interviewed him last week.
Mad. Yes.
Everyone is texting me, "Why are you interviewing him?" I'm like, the guy, he's just a troll. He is who he is. Why do you let him bother you?
The other thing, Ariel, that I'm sure you could probably speak to this, but in the wrestling community, we have some issues because there's a few people who you put them on camera, they're like a flipping magnet. Like, people watch them. So for you, it's like, for whatever reason it is, Dillon Danis probably does better ratings than almost anyone, even really, really highly ranked people that you would bring on. So yeah, it doesn't hurt to have Dillon on once in a while. Like, you put on people who people want to watch. Like, that is the whole point of media.
Right. So did you see him say that he wanted to fight you?
No, I ignore that dude. I don't listen to that dude. Come on.
What's
I saw people tweeting me about it, and I made a tweet like, the dog who just keeps barking and never bites, it gets annoying as shit, and so everyone starts ignoring him.
What's his beef with you though? Like, where does this stem from?
Listen, it's because I'm popular, and he probably wants to fight me because I have like taunted him a few times, but I think I don't know what else it is besides that.
Okay, let's go back to Chandler now.
Yes. Where does he end up? Tell me. Where's your gun to your head?
Listen, here's the thing. Chandler gets paid a lot by Bellator, right?
I think so.
I know so. He and I'm not saying he doesn't deserve it. I would suggest he deserves even more, but MMA standards. I think he's reached the end of the road with them. I think he's been there forever. He was the face of the organization. Yes. He was a multiple-time champion. He fought the Pitbull brothers a gazillion times. Like, how many more fights can you do with these guys? There's no
I agree.
Fresh to me, and I'm not advocating this because I think, the competition is better, whatever. I just want to see him fight a Charles Oliveira, a Dustin Poirier, a Paul Felder. I want to see. I want to see Michael Chandler. I think it would be a shame if he never dipped his toe in the UFC water once. They tried to talk, from what I understand beforehand. They couldn't come to terms, so he's going to test free agency. I would advocate for him to leave.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, the one fight and one championships that I think is interesting would be Eddie Alvarez. They could do the trilogy. Both their first fights were really outstanding. And Michaels came to a point in his life, and actually I was texting with him yesterday, but we didn't have this conversation. But if he asked me, we would. Where he's coming to the point that he has to decide what he wants to do in life. The UFC, he's going to go try to be the best in the world, right? And he probably could do that. Or he could, he's 34, he could go make some more money and probably have a little longer lifespan with one championship. And figure out what you want to do and then go there.
So the thing is, with one championship, they'll probably overpay, although they haven't been as active these days. If the UFC can get him what he was making in Bellator or even a little more, and let's be honest, winning his last Bellator fight gives them a
Huge.
lot of leverage and
Yes.
momentum, right? There's like a gazillion options. Okay, fine. The one Eddie fight out there, great. And then what? Like, what else is there, right? There's so many interesting fights for him, and I still feel like he could be a player, right? Do you think that he could he hang? I know this might be an awkward question to ask you. You're friends and teammates with him, Missouri, all that stuff. But can he hang with the Khabibs, Gaethjes, Fergusons, Conor McGregor? Can he hang with those guys?
Yeah, I would say I don't know that's a guarantee, but I would say, yeah, there's a strong possibility of that. I mean, so, one thing he's shown, hits really hard, right? He puts people down. That always bodes well. Number two, he's a pretty good wrestler. He doesn't get taken down very well or very often. He doesn't get control on the ground. He gets takedowns when he wants. And when you put those things together, yeah, that bodes really well. I would say the one maybe weakness that Michael has shown is he is a little too vulnerable to getting hit sometimes. And, but I think he's been working on his defense a lot with his new gym that he's been at. So, yeah, I think he can go with anyone. And I think that'll be really interesting to see.
Okay, ultimately, where do you think he goes? Does he stay? Does he go to UFC? Does he go to
UFC.
one? Do you think so?
Yeah, for sure.
You think they are interested in him?
Yeah, I guess it would just come down to, I would bet, like you're saying with the pay, that they're going to try to drive a harder bargain. I would think the UFC is, I guess I don't know for sure what their financial standing is, but obviously with the pandemic and them having to cancel shows for 2.5 months, I would think they're a little tighter on the budget strings than they have been historically. So I think they'll probably try to drive a hard bargain. And is he going to maybe sign for a little less than he can get somewhere else?
Is this the type of situation where you put in a call to Dana and say, "Hey, man, this is a good guy. You should sign him"?
I don't talk to Dana.
You wouldn't put in a good word?
I talked to Hunter. I would maybe text Hunter. Well, I'd actually probably just wait till someone wants my opinion. If they want my opinion, I will tell you how I feel about it. Go out of
your way. Be a little proactive.
If Michael asked me, say, "Hey, could you be proactive and could you talk to Chatri or talk to Hunter?" I would do that for sure.
Who's the better at this particular sport? Who's better at this particular sport? You at disc golf or Jorge Masvidal at cornhole?
I didn't watch him at cornhole.
Come on.
I thought this was just some gimmick where, they want someone with a large Twitter following or something to go do their sport. So it got some interest.
You didn't watch any of it? No clips, no nothing?
Nothing. So is he actually good at cornhole?
No, he's not. He got what?
Oh, well then, yeah, I'm with, I was freaking second amateur nationals. Come on, bro.
Have you ever cornholed?
I mean, probably like 10 times.
Sure. You think you could beat him at that?
Most likely. If he's bad.
What's that?
If he's bad at it, I don't see why not.
Is this something you'd be interested in pursuing?
A cornhole career? No.
No, you versus Masvidal, the rematch.
I mean, if someone paid me, I'll have him play cornhole with them. I don't give a damn. Yeah, it's cornhole.
All right. I'm just curious. I was trying to set up a scenario where you get revenge.
What is it? Goes to the American Cornhole League or something? ACL?
I think that would be big business.
You know what game I love, Ariel? I love Frisbee games. So I'm going to give you 2 games I love. There's Can Jam. You know what Can Jam is? You ever hear of that?
No.
It's like a barrel and there's a slot, right? And so you throw it's you and a partner. So you throw it. If you make it in the top, you get some points. If you make it in the slot, you win. If you throw it and then your partner hits it in there, you get a little less points. I can't remember what the exact number is. That game, I would Masvidal, I'd shut him out in that one.
Wow. What is it? Ganji?
Can Jam.
Can Jam. Okay.
Yeah,
so you're issuing the challenge right now. Masvidal, Askren 2, and Can Jam.
And then the other ones where they set the beer bottle on top of the steak and you got to hit it with a Frisbee. That's a good one too.
What's that
called? I don't remember the name.
Okay. Sounds great.
What's your favorite game?
I mean, I like the fight sports,
No, like to go do, like, fight people.
Basketball. I love playing basketball.
You do?
Yeah, that's my thing.
Okay.
I don't know if you know this.
Do you get to get out anymore? Because I know you love covering it. Do you get to play anymore, or are you stuck in your house?
No, I go out and about. Come on. Don't believe everything you read in the press. Now, let me ask you about Tyron Woodley versus Colby Covington. It looks like this is going to happen in September.
Looks like it. It's awesome.
How do you feel about it? Too late?
Good.
Is it 2 years too late?
I mean, yeah, it would have been more ideal, but everyone loves a good feud, right? Those don't age. There's some feuds, Daryl. You could say the dudes are 50 years old and you'd still watch them fight because they hate each other.
Right.
I mean, so I don't think that ages. They hate each other. Colby's a scumbag. Everyone wants to see Colby get punched in the face. Hopefully Tyron does it really hard.
Do you feel like Tyron is taking this fight too soon after what happened in late May?
Actually, I think, I mean, my advice to Tyron is that, he's been a little too calculated. Just say F it. Like, right? I mean, it's like someone showed up at your house and wanted to fight you, like, and they were threatening your family. You go fight them. You wouldn't think about training or anything else. You just go fight the person, right? Not think too much about it. Like, I think that's what he is doing, and that's good.
That's interesting. A little too, like, just let the good times roll.
Yes.
Ease up a little bit.
Absolutely.
You think he wins?
Yeah. I mean, I
love asking if you think your friends are going to win.
They've trained together for sure. Tyron and that was kind of one of the gripes is Tyron used to pay Colby to be a training partner. You know this, right?
Used to pay Colby. I guess I didn't know it in that respect.
Yeah,
I mean, I thought they were in the same room.
No, he used to pay Colby to come up to St. Louis to be a training partner, and Colby was just a dirtbag. And so then, it stopped happening. I think Colby stiffed Tyron's boxing coach. He's trying to extra lessons. This is something that kind of like, I think Masvidal said the same thing. Colby's just not a good person. I mean, that's pretty out there, right? That's not a secret. So, yeah, it ended. And then, Tyron just has thought very lowly of him ever since.
Okay, let's round third here. Stipe DC, obviously you're going to go with your guy.
Yes.
How does he do it?
I think he goes to, he's obviously winning the early fight. I think if he just mixes, like I said, if he mixes in a few takedowns, he doesn't have to just wrestle him, right? But to go along with the striking, he mixes in a couple of takedowns. I think that's how he gets it done. I think if he gets on top, he's going to pound him when he's on top, right? I mean, Stipe is not great off of his back, and DC is very, very dominant on top. So I think just mixing a few takedowns with the strikes.
Just get the W, right? At this point, like, who cares?
Go out on top. I mean, honestly, there's obviously the John Jones asterisk next to his name, but you can make a very convincing argument if he wins this fight that he's the GOAT.
Sean O'Malley, Cheeto Vera.
Yeah, that's one of my other sons. Estranged.
Are you and O'Malley beefing?
You know what? It's really funny because he's like a teenage son that's just too cool for his dad.
Wow. I mean, I was gonna say you wouldn't know, but I found out 30 minutes ago you would know.
What?
About the experience of having a teenage son who's too good for his dad. I mean,
that was Chase Hooper, Ariel. I pranked you.
This whole time? Get out of here. Was that really?
Yeah.
You're joking.
I'm not joking.
That was really Chase Hooper?
Yes.
No way.
Yeah. Okay. When I'm done with the show, we'll
bring him back. Are you serious?
I'm in my. I don't know where he went. Yeah, I'm in my basement.
What is he doing at your house?
We wanted to film some funny. We're doing some funny little clips, and we said no social media. I'm gonna prank Ariel on Monday, so we're not gonna do any social media until after I prank Ariel.
That was Chase Hooper?
Yes.
We spent like 10 minutes on that whole bit.
I know. I can't believe you fell for it. He had a UFC shirt on.
I know. I thought you gave it to him. I thought it was like a son. You had a son when you were 16. Are you serious? That was really Chase. I have horrible. I'm going to the eye doctor tomorrow because I think my eyes are totally messed up. That was Chase Hooper?
Yes. We rewind the tape.
So wait, you and Chase Hooper actually got together?
Yeah.
Even though he like kind of clapped back at you?
Oh yeah. I mean, dude, I'm taking things seriously.
How did this happen?
Well, so Luis Pena wanted to come too, and then he was just so flaky. He was telling me he's got tattoo problems and girl problems, and I was gonna do a whole funky family skit, a few skits, right? The internet likes funny stuff.
So is he training with you?
He's done a couple workouts. He's only here for like 2.5 days. Got in on Saturday. He leaves today.
Where's he staying?
At my house.
What?
I got a nice guest suite in the basement. I mean, it's like he's got his own space, bathroom, bedroom, everything.
You cornering Chase Hooper or guiding Chase Hooper to the next. This is a match made in heaven. This is a promotion's dream.
Well, I don't know. I mean, he's done he did a workout with my club, and I coached him one other time. So. Yeah, I mean, it's I'm not coaching him full time, but it's giving him a few workouts. Is this true,
or are you just trying to you don't want the story of you having a kid at 16 to get out?
No, I mean, I'm going to post a picture. I did not have a kid at 16. I was not partaking in those activities yet at 16, Ariel.
I have to admit, I didn't think you were that kind, but I was like, I don't want to cast any aspersions. You got me. Well done. Well done. That was a job well done.
You know what? My daughter, my 7-year-old, is actually really into pranks, and I kind of told her I was going to prank you today. and she was so pumped. So she'll be
You
so
nailed
excited
it?
that
Oh,
I
wow.
got it.
Okay. Wow. I'm like, I don't even know what to say. I can't believe we spent 10 minutes on that. Great job. Way to stick to the prank there. All right. Well, UFC 252. I don't even know where I was. Oh, wait.
We
Is
were on
O'Malley
Sean
going to win?
O'Malley, my other son. So listen, Ariel, it's so funny because
Is he
it's
coming
so funny
too?
because he he like doesn't want to be a part of it, right? So I act like he's the rebellious teenage son, and it's really funny because I asked him to come film some skits also, and he just wouldn't respond. So
That's
it's so funny.
amazing. That is
Yes.
amazing. I like that. He is the rebellious teenage son. He's got the tattoos,
Absolutely.
he's got the hair, all that
Yep.
crazy stuff. What about JDS, Jairzinho Rosenstrike?
You know what? I'm like moderately excited about it. You know what? I think they're bringing up. Let's talk about Sean O'Malley though. I think they're bringing him up really well. It's something that we don't usually see, right? The UFC bringing people along, I'd say relatively slowly, right? They didn't give him a couple big jumps. He's like what 13-0 now or something.
Mhm.
And they're building a huge following behind him. And I think it's fantastic what they're doing. And I think, you know, if he wins like 2 more fights, you know, he's kind of already a star a little bit. If he wins like 2 more fights, I think he's gonna be kind of a huge star.
I know you're excited about Merab Devalishvili.
Yeah. Wait.
Are you
Who
not?
dat?
He's like a beast on the ground. He's the guy from Serra Longo.
Oh, I don't know him really.
Good job. But we got Iwan Kuchilaba, DC's nemesis. I hope he sees him later on this week. I don't know if you know this, but DC and Iwan, they kind of have like a rival.
What is he? Is he a fighter or what is he?
Who, Iwan?
Yeah.
Oh gosh,
What is he?
what a mess. Yes,
Is he
he's
a
a
movie
fighter.
star?
He's fighting Magomed Ankalaev. I want to play a game with you next time where I name you names of people and you tell me if they're an actual UFC fighter or someone that I made
Well,
up.
I know you cover basketball too, so I figured maybe you were talking about that.
Anyway, let me tell you before we go, Ben, I still, you know, this is a perfect ad read here because you were talking about your son. Let me tell you about our good friends over at Ancestry. Do you know about Ancestry DNA?
I should no. I did. I did a competitor, so I shouldn't talk about them.
Okay, good. Yes, I thought maybe that's how you found out that you had a 16-year-old. I'm still blown away that you did that. That was incredible. Anyway, there are many paths to finding your family story. Whichever way you choose, tracing your family generations back with a family tree or uncovering your ethnicity with Ancestry DNA, it's easy to get started with Ancestry. An Ancestry DNA test tells you where your ancestors are from, and Ancestry's billions of records and millions of family trees let you discover their personal stories. You could find a famous relative, perhaps, a Chase Hooper or someone like that, a Sean O'Malley, or perhaps a photo of your great grandma as a little girl. Whatever you find, it's sure to change the whole way that you look at your family history and yourself. After all, the story of your family is the story of you. I still can't believe you did that so well. Like, honestly, that's one of the most impressive pranks that anyone's ever pulled on me. It was amazing. Now, in my defense, there's like a little screen that I'm looking at here, and I couldn't really tell who it was, but you got me.
That's fair.
I'll put my hand up. You got me. Anyway, Ancestry DNA can reveal ethnic origins and provide historical details that bring unique family stories to life. Ancestry DNA doesn't just tell you which countries you're from, but also can pinpoint the specific regions within them, giving you insightful geographical details about your history. No other DNA tests deliver such a unique interactive experience. It's easy to start making discoveries with Ancestry. Grab an Ancestry DNA kit and start a free trial to amplify your discoveries with Ancestry's billions of records. Start exploring your family story today. Head to our URL, ancestry.com/MMA, to get your Ancestry DNA kit and start your free trial. That's ancestry.com/MMA. Support them because they support us. One day you guys will have ad reads too on your podcast. I think
Absolutely.
that'll be.
You know, the only exciting thing I found out from my DNA test when I did that was I got a very, very high percentage of caveman DNA compared to most people.
Yeah, right.
I swear to God. I'm like on the I'm
That's a
playing
thing?
what's the term called? I'm in like the 98th percentile. I think maybe it's 99th percentile on caveman DNA. Neanderthal.
Really?
I swear to God.
It actually
Everything
kinda
made
makes
so
sense.
much more sense.
It makes a little sense. I'll admit. By the way, I'm doing a radio show this Saturday from 1 to 4 p.m. Eastern time on ESPN Radio Coast to Coast. I haven't asked you yet, but thank you for joining me on the show. I think we'll talk a little more about that, and perhaps we'll hear more from Mr. Funky Ben next week on the program as well, as we discuss what happened Saturday night between Daniel Cormier and Stipe Miocic and all the other fighters competing this Saturday at UFC 252. Ben, thank you for joining me. Thank you for tagging in. Thank you for filling in, and thank you for getting me there. You and Chase. I still feel like he's around, and I think it's weird that he's not coming back, and it's leading me to believe that this is all.
No, I'm
the
literally
prank is actually that your son.
He must be upstairs because if he was
What's he
in
doing?
the other
Playing
room,
video?
he would have heard me. So
Okay.
my camera guy is here too, so my camera guy got it also on video. So they're probably upstairs or something.
Okay, well done to both of you. Thanks to everyone who listened to the show. Thanks to Ancestry, Modelo, and DraftKings. Thank you very much, DC. Daniel Cormier, good luck to him on Saturday. Can't believe it's actually happening. August 15th, UFC 252. Thanks to TST, Sean, Corporate Jake, everyone who supports the show. We appreciate you all very much. Ben, you're the man. Thanks for filling in. Peace.
See
We're
ya.
out of here.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.